You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Hi everyone, my name is Mike Faber.
And I am Mary Ogle.
And this is our station Who. Welcome!
Ian, look at this.
Well, it's a police box. What on earth is he doing here? I mean, these things are usually on the street. Oh, feel it. Feel it, you feel it?
Faint vibration.
It's alive.
Earth Station Who, a fun mashup celebrating nearly 50 years of the Doctor Who universe. Hold tight. You never know where the TARDIS is going next.
Blossom, yes, blossom. That's the only sad thing. I want to know what happens next. Right then. Doctor, whoever I'm about to be. Tag. You're it.
I know these teeth. What? What? What?
We are going to be talking all about Doctor Who with the new, out with the old, and basically the one thing with Doctor Who is it always changes and everything, and it's all about change. And one of the great things about it is if you don't like what's going on with Doctor Who at that moment, it's going to be changing eventually. And we're coming up on our 60th anniversary of Doctor Who, which is pretty damn amazing. And one of the cool things with it is we're getting a new Doctor, even though it's going to be we already know it's a 3-episode arc, basically the 3 60th anniversary specials. They've announced that officially. It's just not me just saying that off the top of my head. Oh, he's going to be gone in 3 episodes.
Yeah, we know David Tennant's going to be in it. We know there's going to be 3 episodes. Probably like a mini-series in November.
Exactly, and then
a Christmas special with Shooty.
With Shooty's official first episode, he's going to regenerate at the end of the 3rd special, and he's going to become Shooty. And then the first official filming is the Christmas special.
They're filming that now.
They're filming that right now, and officially, so we're going to be getting this year. We're going to be getting 4 episodes of Doctor Who, and they're each going to be extra long specials. It's just not going to be 42 minutes or 60 minutes, whatever they have. So it's going to be longer, and it's going to be awesome, because not only are we getting the return of David Tennant, we're also getting the return of course, Donna is back.
Donna's my favorite companion. I'm so excited.
And we're also getting the return of Wilf, her grandfather, and
that was his last role.
His last role before he passed away.
I didn't realize he recorded. I just said I didn't realize that he managed to.
Yeah, he made it to.
That's awesome.
He was there.
But we're also getting Neil Patrick Harris as the Celestial Toy Maker, which is awesome. So, do you guys want to come in? Come on in if you guys want to the panel. There's definitely space. If you guys want chairs and stuff, please. I always like playing to a standing room only audience, which is awesome. Actually, let's put some of these chairs out also, since we're not using these right now. So we got some chairs up here if you guys want. Thanks. All right. So. I'm going to go check the doors. Okay. Thanks, Mark. So one of the cool things with Doctor Who also is we also have the return of Russell T Davies, who was the showrunner that brought Doctor Who.
Does everyone feel good about that, or?
Yeah.
Oh, I like it.
I do.
Is there anyone who's not happy about it coming back? Good. Nobody. That's awesome. That's awesome. It just shows I'm full of a room with good people with good taste. So, and it's going to be interesting, too, because basically what they've been saying with Russell T and what he's been coming out with saying is what we've been seeing pictures of or what we've been hearing about is only from the first episode of the specials. Okay. We have not seen what's going to be happening in episode 2 or episode 3. And he says what we have coming in, he says, guest stars that they haven't even announced yet, which is really awesome. And, you know, I'm going to throw this out to you guys. Who do you want to see come back for the 60th anniversary?
Kenneth Baker.
Captain Jack.
Berriman.
Eccleston.
Susan. Funny you say that.
This is Mike's pet theory about Susan.
There is a theory I have that Russell T Davies is actually wanting Carol Ann Ford to come back and to reprise the role of Susan, because the only time she's ever come back was for the 5 Doctors. And also she's done some Big Finish and such with Paul McGann. And if anyone has not had a chance to listen to any of the Big Finish audios, you're shorting yourself. There are some amazing, amazing stories. There's Doctor Who stories featuring a lot of classic doctors, but also now they have David Tennant there. They have Chris Eccleston is there. River Song has a full series. The Paternoster Gang, who's Madame Vastra, Jenny, and Strax, they have full adventures up there.
That one's a really good series.
They also have unit adventures up there.
Yeah.
But one of the storylines they did is called The Earthly Child. And it's the story about what happened to Susan and stuff. It's not canon or anything. But my theory, and you guys are going to laugh at this, and, you know, please don't throw anything at me. Just remember that. My theory is that Susan is actually the timeless child. It isn't the Doctor. Because everyone here knows the Master lies. Right. And everything. And he was just doing it to confuse the Doctor. But Susan was the timeless child. And that's why the Doctor actually left Gallifrey, was she went through all the stuff that the Master was describing. That's how the Time Lords got the regeneration power and everything. And they were torturing her and
so he was trying to save Susan.
He was basically trying to save Susan.
Which makes more sense than what Chris Chibnall was doing.
Works for me.
Yeah, and that's why the Doctor left Gallifrey. And that's also why he dropped her off on Earth to hide her from the Time Lords, basically. So it would be perfect to do. And Carol Ann Ford is in her early 70s right now. So she's wanted to come back. She truly wanted to go through the whole thing. And it would be great to do that. And then you could have her regenerate in the story to a new actress. So cool. And then that would be a great spin-off.
That's exciting. That could be a spin-off. Since he says we're getting spin-offs.
Exactly. And we'll talk about the spin-offs in a few minutes and everything, because it's on my checklist in here. So it's pretty awesome. That's what I would love to see, Susan. I agree completely. Anyone else? We heard Captain Jack. We heard the 9th Doctor. Billy Piper.
Yes.
You want to see Rose come back?
Yes.
Jenny.
Oh.
Funny you to mention that. The Doctor's daughter.
She's coming back in Big Finish.
She's already coming back in Big Finish, but there have been rumors about seeing her on the set with her husband.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
So, and she was wearing a certain camouflage outfit that she was last seen in. So there's rumor going around that we might get Jenny back.
I mean, we know for sure Unit is back.
Yes.
We know for sure Gemma Redgrave is back as Kate Stewart. So I wonder if Jenny could be working with Unit.
That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So let's have it. What else? Anyone else? Clara?
Yeah.
So would you want to see Clara with me still?
Yes.
Yeah.
No?
I'd love to see that.
You would?
Yeah.
Why?
I just think that Me is a very interesting character. I'd be more excited to see Me than I would Clara.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. That's not a bad thought.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about coming back, but that would be interesting.
Okay, that's awesome. Would anyone want to see Peter Capaldi come back as
I
the
don't
12th
think Peter
Doctor?
wants to come back.
Yeah.
Do you want to see Matt Smith back?
Yes. There have been rumors about Matt Smith coming back.
And everything. So,
Nothing confirmed, though, just rumors.
exactly. What else? Anybody else?
I need more Fugitive Doctor.
Fugitive
Oh,
Doctor?
man, I would love for
I would
her to come
love
back.
to see her. Have you read the comic book with her?
Not yet. It's on my to-do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone has one of those. So, yeah.
Is there any word out from any of the cast from the Sarah Jane Adventures? Anything with their characters?
Maybe.
I would love to see them expand that.
I've heard they've talked about having, Clive and Ronnie come back.
Okay.
They're coming back on Big Finish.
Yes, I knew
Yeah,
that.
I've heard that.
So there's always possibilities. Keep on going. Anyone else you'd want?
K9.
Amy and Rory.
Amy and Rory. Okay.
That also seems unlikely because they're pretty busy.
Yeah. Well, I know Amy's kind of busy with the MCU right now, and she's also working on a couple of different projects. Would anyone want to see River Song?
Oh,
That was such a mixed reaction.
Wow.
Yes.
I want to hear both sides. Why yes? Why no?
Because River obviously has more story.
Yes.
There's obviously something there, especially with her still being in the Matrix. Like, you can literally go back to her past, but you can also, she's still there existing, so there's something there.
Okay. And you said no.
So, River, if she's not on Doctor Who, because it became the River Song show. And I stopped watching it.
Really?
I just now has started with River made me stop watching Doctor Who. After my whole life.
You're the first person I've ever heard of it.
Yeah.
No.
It did seem to overpower a little bit with her storyline.
Yes. But that was truthfully for the first 3 seasons of Matt Smith's run.
I always felt like if we got Tennant back, maybe we could have him return to the library, and we're having Donna back.
Yes.
So Donna Noble could be saved. That's how
true.
Donna survives. He swaps places with River.
Right. And that's interesting because they've done some good Big Finish stuff with River Song also. And like they have the Diaries of River Song. I think they have 11 seasons of it.
Well, she could be a spin-off, too.
Yeah.
She's a good spin-off character.
That would be good use for her.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's not a bad possibility.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so you said K9?
Yeah. I need some more K9. It's been too long.
Yeah.
Okay. What about bad guys? Who would you want to see come back?
Do you want the Master to come back?
Great intelligence.
Strangely enough, the guy that played the Master with the Whitaker series, I liked him.
What about the
Whitaker? But I liked the Master that we got. The Indian fellow. I can't remember his name.
Sasha?
I liked him. I liked him a lot.
I have a theory with the Master that he is actually the Master after John Sim. And that
Before Missy.
And before Missy.
Yeah, because it didn't make sense with her ending, then reverting right back.
To hating the Doctor so much.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't like that, but I feel like the Master should have been retired at least for a while after that ending with Missy.
It was a neat... I will say this for Chris Chibnall. I really enjoyed how they brought the Master back, though. You know, how he was in disguise and another identity.
Yeah.
And it says, well, it is all part of my master plan. And I thought that was just really well done.
If you're a classic Who fan, I mean, the Master in disguise is a big trope.
Exactly. And so I thought that was pretty awesome with that. What about bad guys? Would you want to see... You said the Great Intelligence. Why do you want to see the Great Intelligence come back?
I just thought he wasn't very prominent enough in the newer stuff. We only had, like, the snowmen.
Right.
And that,
the first. If you also want to see more of the Great Intelligence, go back to the Second Doctor era. Because...
The sewers.
The sewer stories and everything. And the Abominable Snowman also, which just came out on DVD, actually. That was his first appearance. So you might want to check that out. What other bad guys would you guys want to see?
Weeping Angels.
Okay.
Nicole Scarrow.
Yes.
Oh.
There are rumors that Stephen Moffat's maybe writing for the next series. And so that certainly could bring back the Weeping Angel.
Yes. Well, Stephen Moffat made everything scary, though.
Yeah, it was.
It's like, Stephen Moffat made me, hate going to Lowe's or going to...
No more garden statues. That's it.
Whatever you do, don't go blinking in the Lowe's,
We can get Sally Sparrow back.
That would be awesome.
I don't know how you brought her back.
She's not coming back.
She's way too
moved on.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's become a very, very popular actress.
That's good, though.
Exactly.
It's always good when you find work.
Well, it's interesting, too, because then you also go back to some things during, like, what was it, the Daleks Take Manhattan?
Yep.
You had Spider-Man in there.
Absolutely.
So it's pretty awesome to see. But, I'd like that they are going back to some of the classic, because we're getting the Celestial Toymaker, who has not been seen since the first Doctor era. And it's kind of neat to do that. So when you guys think of people coming back and everything, where do you want to see the Doctor go? Where do you want to see new adventures? Do you want to... Someone had mentioned they wanted to see Rose come back. Do you want to see, when Rose comes back, that she has her Doctor with her?
I would like to expound upon that a little bit.
So you want to see where it goes with that?
Yeah. That would be a fun spin-off. It wouldn't happen, but it would be great.
That would be a great spin-off. It's not like David Tennant's doing anything else.
He's not busy.
No, it's not.
I'd like to see more stories that aren't on Earth.
Yes.
Yes.
I'd also like to see a companion who's not from modern times. Or an alien.
Or not from Earth.
Yes.
I would like them to go back to the more dynamic world that they had with the start of the revision, where very much the world retained, when Big Ben was hit, or they remembered seeing that. Now it's back to this. What, aliens exist?
Yeah.
That's just continuity.
Yeah, I enjoyed
you don't
having
remember when
that
the Daleks, attacked, or the Big Ben got exploded, or the spaceship over London? Everyone remembers that.
I can. RTD likes to troll, so I bet he's going to, bring that up.
But I always feel like RTD also has issues with mothers a lot. So
women of a certain age.
Exactly. But he's gotten so much better. The cool thing with also where Doctor Who is going now is we're getting an influx in budget on Doctor Who. Because Doctor Who, not only have they, you have Bad Wolf Productions coming into Doctor Who, we also now have money coming in from Sony, who's been, is now partners with Big Bad Wolf, sorry. And Big Bad Wolf, but we also, speaking of Big Bad Wolves, now have a certain company with big magic Mickey ears.
Just don't give them any say-so.
Exactly. That's the thing, because now
we're a little unsure about how much input.
I don't want them to have input.
It's going to be interesting to see, because now that Disney is going to be the sole showing of the new series.
The distributor.
The distributor.
Own the show per se?
No. They only own the distribution rights
in
every country besides where the BBC shows.
Yeah. So basically, if you are in the UK, I think it's still BBC. But anywhere else in the world, including Australia, Canada, the US, Asia, South America, it's all going to be on Disney Plus.
The Empire has it.
Yeah, and once Disney sinks its fingers into a product, it doesn't want to let go. So basically, as we've been saying, Captain Jack is now a Disney princess.
But maybe we can get a Doctor Who park at Disney.
That would be awesome.
Then I could maybe get on board.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for Doctor Who merchandise from Disney.
Did you notice during the Chimmel era voice kind of just went away.
Yeah.
I missed that.
Even like the Doctor Who magazine.
That's awesome. But yeah, it would be interesting to see what happens with Doctor Who and Disney, because you're getting money now from Disney, and I'm sure Disney's going to be whispering into RTD's ear.
I have to say, RTD's a really strong showrunner, very experienced, very highly successful. So I feel like he's a person who's going to stand up to Disney. Not sure about the next one that comes along with him. I think we're probably going to be okay.
Because RTD says he's, been saying he's in it for the long run, and like a lot of people have been saying, you want to see spin-offs and everything, and Disney is pushing them for spin-offs.
Yeah, it's that money that's going to power the universe.
Right. And it's,
now they may have more say.
What he's saying is that they are going to be, he's looking at Star Trek, basically, as a model for, not a model like...
going crossovers?
No, there is a crossover in the comics.
Yeah, there is, but he's using it as a model for how to do spin-offs and everything, and how building a universe. Different worlds and everything. So you are going to see, they've been talking about they're going to be doing a villain-based spin-off. Yeah, but I think it would get very old seeing a Cybermen spin-off or a Dalek spin-off.
Yeah, because your villain's only as good as your hero, and your hero's only as good as your villain.
Exactly.
Well, if your villains are over there in the corner,
yeah,
at some point you're not going to care. It never re-interacts with your hero.
Well, exactly.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could do, like they did the WandaVision.
Yeah.
Which was, I mean, basically, she turns out to be the bad guy.
Yep.
Spoilers.
Yeah. Watch more of that again.
I actually think that would be kind of cool, because you could do something where you've got sort of the same storyline, but you've got the villain's point of view. It could be used to make them much more three-dimensional.
Sure, it'd be.
Yeah. With the Dalek one, you can have that one Dalek that turned out to be a good Dalek, like him interacting with the other Daleks and seeing if he could change them or if he could save the species.
It's interesting because in the I don't know how many people have anyone here read the old Marvel Doctor Who comics from like the 70s and 80s and such? Because pay attention to that, because you're getting some characters from that old comic series already coming into the holiday specials that we're getting. You want to talk about what is it?
Oh.
Yeah. Beep the Meep. You want to talk about that?
That's not from Marvel.
It is.
That's from the
it was Marvel.
That was from the monthly magazine.
It was from Marvel.
Oh, was that Marvel?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was Marvel.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Frobisher.
I'm hoping
I'd love to see Frobisher.
Frobisher, for those who don't know, Frobisher is a shape-changing private detective who was sent after the Doctor in the comics. And he ended up changing into the shape of a penguin in one of the storylines, and he loved it so much he stayed
and
as a penguin.
the penguin.
And so the doctor literally has a companion who's a talking penguin.
Yeah, but I mean, they confirmed that one of the villains coming back is Beep the Meep, who is a very obscure character from the comic.
And because if you've seen the trailer for the 60th anniversary, they showed this cute little furry creature.
The one that looks sort of like a gremlin.
He looks like exactly. Looks like a gremlin, and he ends up being one of the most evil creatures in the universe.
Yeah.
So, which is kind of cool. And so that's right from the comic books at this era. And one of the other characters that they had in this era, there was a character. He was a Dalek hunter. And one of the rumors is if they do a Dalek spin-off, he's going to be one of the characters in it, which would be kind of interesting.
He has cameo in Time Heist.
It's true, he did.
So, yeah.
Yep, that's very, very true. Didn't they kill him off? No, they didn't kill him off.
No, it was
just like 2 seconds.
They killed him off and cloned him, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, many times.
Yeah.
It's a comic book. No one stays dead. You know.
It's Doctor Who. Nobody stays.
Yeah, exactly. You know, wibbly wobbly time. You know. So, what else would you guys like to see coming for the 60th anniversaries with Tennant? Because, like we said, there's going to be 3 of them. So we have only seen images from the first. What else would you guys like to see?
Live action Star Trek crossover.
Which would be awesome. Yeah. And actually, because it would be awesome to see, because they are actually doing, I know this is going into Star Trek now, in Strange New Worlds, they're doing a crossover with Lower Decks. And which is actually, and it's going to be live action, and they're having the actors who do the voice actors are going to become the live action, which is pretty awesome. If you're into Star Trek, but that's a whole other thing and everything. But it is pretty awesome that we're getting so much interest in Doctor Who, and I think one of the things you need to look at is, why did the Doctor regenerate into, from Jodie's Doctor to David Tennant? And it wasn't just a normal regeneration where you would have seen David in Jodie's clothes. He was already changed.
Even his clothes regenerated.
Oh, no, and that was something that we don't normally see. And everything. Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And everything. So, what do you guys think? Any theories? Is something like maybe the Celestial toy makers behind this, or is something bigger than that?
Could it be something like a parallel universe, like how the Cybermen were introduced with planets?
It could be.
It could be.
Sort of the TARDIS going to a different universe?
Parallel universes have been coming up by a lot of fans to basically explaining Jodie's Doctor, or who the Ruth Doctor was, or what they call the Fugitive Doctor. Could have, because, that's where she came from, people would say. But we'll have to wait and see. It would make a lot of sense, especially because at the end of Flux, half the universe was destroyed, and almost half the alien races, half the people on Earth were destroyed. What are they going to do with that? Or are they just going to write it off because of Doctor Who? So it's pretty interesting with that. So, parallel universes. What else would you guys like to see?
Sisterhood of Karn.
Oh. Wow. We have not seen the Sisterhood since the 50th anniversary. And because for those, that goes back to the old series. You want to explain who the Sisterhood of Karn?
Maybe that.
No. The Sisterhood of Karn, basically, they were Gallifreyan at one point and basically spun off, and they were more mystical. And basically, in The Brains of Morbius, which is a 4th Doctor story, basically that also was the first storyline where they basically said that the Doctor has only so many set regenerations, so many things. Then it also showed some possible past regenerations before the first Doctor that the Doctor could have been, but that had never been really explained into. So basically, the Sisterhood, after that storyline, never appeared again until the 50th anniversary, and out of nowhere, Moffat basically created a special, one of the shorts featuring our guest who is here this weekend, the 8th Doctor.
Paul McGann?
Paul McGann was just awesome. So they had Paul McGann in a special, and it freaked everyone out because nobody announced it, that he was coming back to Doctor Who or anything. And they had this special, The Ship Was Crashing, for those who hadn't seen it. And basically, I says, we really need some help. And he says, well, I'm the Doctor. And you hear the voice from behind, but it might not be the Doctor you were expecting. And it was the 8th Doctor for the first time on TV since the TV movie. And the ship actually happens to crash on Karn. And the Sisterhood is there and helps basically the Doctor regenerate into the War Doctor. And it was like geekdom at its best for Doctor Who, and, which was awesome. I think I was in the bathroom watching it on my phone, and I was just screaming. My wife was like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" It's like, it's the 8th Doctor. So it was awesome. But now that I've embarrassed myself completely with that, but it would be awesome for the 8th Doctor to come back. I would love to see the sisterhood of Karn to come back, because there's so much story they could do with that and everything. So there's a possibility. Anybody else? It could be as random as you want.
The Earth Draconian War.
Oh. Because they have not touched on the Draconians since the 3rd Doctor era at all.
And it's such a great character design.
Yes, it is. And it would actually even look even better with the new effects and everything. So that's actually, I can see that. And, we could go back to finding out more about, the humans living on the back of a space whale, or, ideas like that. You had a question? Okay. So, what else? Any other things you guys would want to see? Anything they've touched on with that?
Bring it back to Face of Bo. And fill in our history between...
Don't you like putting in the history yourself? Thinking
I do,
because part of the joke was, how did Jack lose his head?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Probably over a piece of tail.
Yeah.
You're right. Probably.
That's a good possibility. I could see that. I know, it could be something. It could be a storyline with the headless monks or something.
Yeah, I've heard rumors he was supposed to be on Demon's Run.
He was.
And died of the headless
Yeah,
monks.
he was. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So, but there's so much possibilities. Let's hear some more. This is awesome. This is your time to let's help write Doctor Who. Let's create it. So, what else? Any other ideas? What do you got?
More War Doctor stories.
War Doctor stories. They're on Big Finish right now.
Yeah.
And it's also the actor who played the War Doctor, sadly, is no longer with us. Yeah. And everything. So, but you definitely hear some amazing War Doctor stories on the Big Finish audios. Because it actually has the original actor, but they also have stories of the young War Doctor. So there's tons and stuff, and they tie it in. There's even a War Master and such. So it's it's interesting, and because if you remember in David Tennant's last episode that he did, he was when Rassilon came back, he was telling the Master, don't believe him. There's all these things, and he was bringing off all these things from the Time War about all these characters. We've never seen them. We've never heard anything about. So the Big Finish audios are touching on those, which is pretty darn awesome.
Is that like a podcast or something?
No, it's they're audiobooks basically.
Yeah, just go to Big Finish.
They're audio adventures. They're not even books. They're dramas.
They have a website. There's a million of them.
There's hundreds and hundreds of stories out there, and you can download them. They're like $7 each or something, or sometimes as much as $20 for the full season.
Are those considered to be canon, or are they just fandom?
It's mostly fandom, but they've tied some of it in that 8th Doctor short that I mentioned at the 50th anniversary when McGann came back as the Doctor. Before he regenerated, he says, I'm doing this for, and he named his Big Finish companions, like Charlie and some of the other ones. And so everyone was like, you can't Big Finishes now, because there's some great stories. If you ever have watched the 6th Doctor stories and go, oh, he's horrible as the Doctor, I don't like this guy, because he was not a likable character in it. The Doctor is very much redeemed, though, still played by Colin Baker as the 6th Doctor in these Big Finish audios. These stories he's done are amazing and everything, so I highly recommend them. And they've gotten all the way now. There's brand new stories with the 9th Doctor that,
Christopher S. Eccleston wrote down.
And he came back to
did some more Doctor Who stuff.
He still will not do the TV show, he said. But he will keep on doing that.
Who knows?
Yeah. Never say never.
Hell has frozen over before.
That's right.
So,
I'd be interested to know, would people rather see more one-off episodes, or would they like to see multi-episode arcs?
That's a good question.
that's a good question. I would love to see them bring back the cliffhangers, truthfully. You know, I'm an old series person. That's when I started. And I was lucky enough when I watched it, the TV station in Washington, D.C. showed it Doctor Who at 11 o'clock p.m. every weeknight. So they did it in half-hour clumps as they originally were produced. And we had the cliffhangers and everything, and which is awesome. If you watch them on the Blu-rays or the DVDs, you have them in that format. So it's pretty cool, too, with that. But when you BritBox also has them in that format. You got to watch it that way, the old series. I loved when Moffat had with the 12th Doctor, he almost, the one season was all two-parters. And, you know, they did the Return of the Zygons. They did, you know, which was an amazing story. And I'd like to see the Zygons actually come back. It'd be kind of cool, you know. That's another one. Hey, there you go. But I would love to see more of the return to, hey, I've got to watch this next week, you know, because, you know, make you want to come back to Doctor Who. But, you know, I also don't want the story, the overarching story throughout the whole season or something.
Well, RTD did do that with Bad Wolf, only it was very loosely tied together.
Or You Are Not Alone with that.
Or in the second season, the Torchwood.
Yeah, that's right.
Torchwood was actually a TV show.
Right.
Even with Moffat,
the Torchwood Institute, you know.
Even with Moffat, there's somewhat with Amy's pregnancy, like they had the.
You were completely right. But then you also got throughout the whole Moffat era. First, it was Who is River Song, and then you also then had Why is Clara the most important girl in the universe? You know, or the impossible girl, as they call her. And everything, which is interesting too. So, yeah.
I'd like to see some more whimsy.
Whimsy.
You mean as opposed to being so dark, or?
Yeah, it's all heavy drama and all. And don't get me wrong, I've loved a lot of it, but it would be nice to see. I'm not talking about the good light, but some of the whimsy of, you know, you're traveling with this alien companion, and you get to see some interesting things or funny things, or you would not expect to think that. I also wouldn't mind seeing more of the inside of the TARDIS.
Yeah.
See where the pool is.
Yeah.
Well,
the pool.
has anyone here actually, speaking of the TARDIS, has anyone seen the pictures yet of what the new TARDIS is going to be looking like inside?
No.
Oh, you guys! I'm not going to ruin it. You guys
not
are
official picture.
No. They've had some leaks from the set, and you guys are in for a treat because it's going back to a lot of what a mix between what the classic one looked like and kind of what Matt Smith's TARDIS looked like.
As long as we get the round things.
You're getting the round things. Yes, we're getting the round things. So, because I was not, and you know, you can shoot me if you want, but I was not a fan of Jodie's TARDIS. What it looked like.
Yeah.
It was way too dark inside, and it also looked like honeycombs, and you know, and
I don't prefer Sonic either.
I can understand that. Do you think the Doctor's relying too much on the Sonic? Do you think?
Nah.
Yeah.
It's better than a
Well, there are times when a Sonic becomes like a magic wand. I can't figure a way out of this story plot hole of this piece of Sonic.
I think my favorite line of the whole series is when they're pointing their Sonics as weapons.
Yeah.
And it goes, what are you going to do? Assemble a cabinet out of it?
Well, I loved like even when Captain Jack first appeared, and he pulled out his sonic screwdriver, and he said, "What are you going to do with that?" And because it was awesome, because Jack had that one tool that he shot it and created the shape, and and then was able to put it back and everything, which was awesome. It's like that would be cool, but the Doctor's not supposed to have weapons. He's supposed to be using his brain, and that's what Doctor Who is about. And yes, the Doctor every once in a while should resort, if he has to, resort to shooting or whatever because it was funny with
shooting the diamond.
Yeah, exactly. When Matt Smith's doctor at the end of the first part of the Weeping Angel story that he did, and he shot the gun at the globe thing, and it was the people were griping online. People always gripe online. That wait a minute, the doctor doesn't use a gun.
He doesn't use weapons. He used it as a tool.
Right.
Yeah. But you go back to any time in the old series, you get the doctor using guns all the time. Or go back to the third. Yeah, go back to the third doctor. Go back to Venetian judo. So it's pretty awesome.
Speaking of the third doctor, he used a gun during one of the unit stories.
That's right.
Yeah.
He did. So it's interesting and everything. What do you guys think of the new companion, Ruby Sunday?
She's got potential.
Yeah.
We know so little about her.
Yeah. I will say the one picture they had, I told my friend, it kind of looks like she's doing a Rose cosplay to me, so I'm worried about that.
I'm glad that we're not getting multiple companions. We're not trying to get every demographic. We're not trying to,
Well, that's the one thing I have to complain about with the Chibnall era, among many things. But was that the TARDIS was too crowded. It was. I loved it when it was the Doctor and Yaz,
right?
But when it was, the Doctor, then it was Yaz, and then Ryan,
Graham. And
we miss Graham.
Yeah. I love
Graham was fun.
But it's interesting. I like it when it's more of like a one-on-one or maybe even a two-on-one. But even like a lot of times when it was the Doctor, Rory, and Amy, it always felt like Rory was always the leftover.
Yeah, he was definitely a third wheel in a lot of stories.
Yeah.
But that was also kind of the point with Rory where it works better.
Exactly.
Right. Well, they kind of made that his whole storyline.
Yeah.
He was the third wheel.
Exactly. Until he waited for 2,000 years.
That's it. Yes.
So, but it's interesting and everything. What else would you got?
I'd like to see what exactly does the Master do in between trying to kill the Doctor. And what has he been doing in between? What kind of evil plots does he have?
Would you want to see a Master spinoff?
Sure.
Yeah. As one of maybe for the villain one, it'd be very interesting. They've done Master's Big Finish stories, and I hate to keep on referring to Big Finish, but that's what they do. They fill in the spots with Doctor Who, and they keep on putting amazing stuff out. They're doing a storyline for the 60th anniversary. It's starting, I think, next month.
Yeah.
They're putting out once a month. They're going to be putting out different stories, and it's going to feature all the living Doctors, including Tom Baker and everything. And it's all the way. I think they're going to go all the way through David Tennant's here,
I think so. Yeah.
and everything, which is awesome. And it's all going to tie together into one big, huge story. So.
Do you think with these spin-offs, it might take something away from Big Finish of Big Finish was always this is the side stories. Well, they're showing the side stories in these spin-offs.
I don't think so, because Big Finish actually was around before Doctor Who came back. And it didn't take away when they did Torchwood, when they did Sarah Jane. Yeah. It actually gives them more,
more
stuff to play with.
More characters to play with,
Yeah. I think
I
there's so much
guarantee.
potential for story.
Right.
I don't think you're ever going to run out.
True.
It's such a huge universe. And truthfully, I fully expect within the next 5 years, you're going to see Jodie's stories.
Oh, definitely.
Be on there, because she still wants to do more Doctor Who.
Yeah.
But
I'd love to see her with a better writer that, like...
They wrote her as a doctor, not just her as a female doctor.
Exactly, just her as the doctor.
The doctor, that's
No, I
what
agree
failed.
with, I agree
I
with
think
you.
that's why she had so many companions, because it was a crutch for the writers.
Well, they do that quite often with the regeneration and everything. Back in the Fourth Doctor era, they weren't sure what Tom Baker was going to be like as the Doctor. And so that's why they had Sarah Jane already, but then they brought in Harry Sullivan. Because they thought they might need, somebody to be the muscle and everything. And Tom went off flying with what he was. And so that was the same thing with Jodie's. That's why they gave her a crowded TARDIS. And sadly enough, each time she had an older white male companion.
Yeah.
And I think that was a hindrance.
Absolutely.
And so I would love to see her maybe do her own adventures with one person.
Yeah.
Right.
It could be
and with different writing.
Yeah.
I think
exactly.
I think their direction was wrong. I think I'm not a fan of hers, just the actress herself.
Okay.
But I think with the right writing, I think she could have brought more to it.
Gotcha.
I mean, it's obviously that we need to bring Tennant back because we need to revitalize the series. You lost me during the Whittaker years because I watched the first season and then just kind of stopped watching it. It wasn't interesting.
No.
But now I'm that person that I'm coming back. Tennant's going to be back.
That's why they're doing it.
And with Shuti, I'm curious.
Right.
I don't know anything about him, but give your companion a Sonic lipstick and let's go. I mean,
there you go. So
maybe he didn't have
I think that's RTD's whole strategy, and
Is exactly.
Tennant back. It's bringing back fans.
And since Tennant left, and you then had Matt Smith, and starting with Capaldi, the series has been losing.
It has, and that's been my viewing. Is kind of he was a Matt Smith fan, and I was like, okay, he's not Tennant, but it's Doctor Who. It's kind of like griping about Deep Space Nine. It's the only thing airing you can either do without or you can watch it. Well, I watched Matt Smith, and I liked a lot of Matt Smith stories.
Right.
And then I didn't like Capaldi as much, but it had some stuff for me in it. And then Whittaker just completely lost me.
And that's understandable. And like I said when we first, and this is a good, because we're starting to wrap up, it's a good coming back to.
It is.
That's the great thing with Doctor Who. Whenever you don't like something,
just wait.
It's going to change again. You know, Shudi's not going to be the last Doctor.
No.
There's going to be somebody after him. And
RTD's not going to be the last showrunner.
No, exactly. It's not like the Doctor's now limited to 13 regenerations. They threw that number out in 1974 when they thought, Doctor Who's not going to and everything. And then when they got to the 12th Doctor, they went, oh crap, we got a problem. What are we going to do now?
And I want to see Shuti's regeneration. I want to see how he approaches the differences between him and Tennant.
Yeah.
I'm still, like I said to her, I'm still wondering about Tennant's mole.
Well, it's
going to regenerate.
You're not going to. One thing with David Tennant is he's such a good actor that you're not going to get the same character that you got when he was the Doctor the last time, because he's a completely other. Experiences. He's gone through 4 regenerations since then. The Doctor's had all these experiences, so it's going to be real interesting to see. Thank you guys for joining us. This has been a ton of fun, and you guys made it onto the podcast. Yay. So yay! You guys can find us at earthstationwho.com. We're up on Instagram. We're up on Facebook. And also, we're everywhere you can find a good podcast. Our podcast is there, too. So it's awesome. Get postcards. We have them up here. Thank you guys for listening. We do appreciate it so much. And have a great Pensacon. And if you get a chance, please rate us on the app. We appreciate it. We'd like to come back.
You have been listening to Earth Station Who, a bi-weekly pop culture podcast dedicated to all things Doctor Who, featuring talents from across the universe. All topics on the show are the sole opinions of the individual and are used for entertainment value alone. You subscribe to our podcast up on iTunes, Stitcher, or follow our blog at www.esopodcast.com. You can also follow us up on Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. If you enjoyed the show, please leave feedback up on iTunes.
So, Brittany, Martha, tell me about your podcast.
Oh, no. It's like we're in sync, but also kind of a disaster.
We are always a disaster.
So our podcast is fun if you want to hear two people talk about and complain about stuff that they love and also hate.
And drink.
And drink.
And the show is called?
Oh.
But first, let's talk nerdy.
And you can find us on the ESO Network.
See you next Tuesday.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.